Hello and welcome to the ellenmade book club. Today it's time to pick out the options for book club in October. And as usual, I'm going to pick 4 prompts from my TBR jar, and then I'll put up a poll on my community tab where you can vote, and together we will decide which books to read. I already have one book chosen, Beartown by Fredrik Backman. This started out as a plan for a buddy read with Mariandrea from Books and Bocadillos and Reney from Beyond Books. And I just figured 2 birds, 1 stone, and make this a book club pick because I think that more people want to read this. And then we will pick 4 more, and then based on the votes, we'll pick 1 more or 2 more. Since this one is a little bit on the chunkier side, I'm going to be looking for pretty short books. I would also like some happier books, or like a little bit of fluff, a little bit of lightheartedness, not too heavy. Ideally 4 short fluffy ones, but I don't think I have that many. We'll see what the prompts give us and we will go from there. But I'm choosing from this section and possibly this one, but mostly right here. So the ones that we're reading in September are The Power by Naomi Alderman, The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, and Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati. I'm reading all 3 of those, and you can choose to read 1 of them or 2 of them or 3 of them. And if you can't get to them in September, you can always read them later and then come back to the discussion video whenever you have read them, or 1 of them, or whatever. Let's start by picking the prompts. And in here I have prompts in different colors that all represent a different category of prompts. And so I'm going to pick 4 prompts that are all different colors. That's one. Okay, and it is a blue one, which I think is theme, I think. Okay. The theme is books. A book about books. I'm not sure I have that, but I always say that. But then there's like library and audiobooks and all of that. Okay. Different color. Let's see what we get. Pink. And that is other, I think. Let's see. Thank you. That's a good one. It just says short. That's exactly what I had ordered. So that's very good. Okay, books and short. Short books is what we want. Okay, different color. This is a purple one. And purple is color. And the color is purple. I don't have a lot of purple books, but I have a few with purple on it. Okay, we'll find something. And then this one is green. Okay, so that's 4 different colors. Okay. So green is genre, and this one says fantasy. Interesting. Let's move a little bit closer. A book about books. I don't actually think I have a book about books on my shelves, so let's see on audiobook. Okay, so I don't have a single book about books. And I know there are books about libraries and bookshops and things, but I would prefer to read something that I have or that I have saved. I don't want to look for something like completely new. So I think I'm gonna pick a new prompt for this because I can't find one. So let's see, this one is another blue. And let's see what this is. Well, that's really difficult. Okay. It says culture. That can be culture in the sense of like the culture of a country or like group of people, or it could be culture in terms of like media. Culture. It's also a little bit heavy and I wanted something a little bit fluffier. Okay, let's do something else. Let's see if we can find a purple book. Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Marer. Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. I guess I'll check the audiobooks again. Purple, 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 purple. I have actually thought about the fact that I don't have any purple books because I love purple and like my whole channel aesthetic is purple. The List by Yomi Adegoke. Fans of Yellowface will love this. I didn't really like Yellowface. There's a little bit of purple on Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. That's supposed to be really good, and I think it's kind of nice and heartwarming and just like a lovely book. That might be nice. It doesn't exactly scream purple, but there is purple on it. So fantasy, I guess, I don't know if these would work for that as well. I would like to read this at some point, but I don't think it's hardcore fantasy, but I think it definitely has some fantasy elements to it, but not sure. Let's see, fantasy. Don't really have a lot of that. This might be a little bit of fantasy. This is White Cat Black Dog by Kelly Link, and it's a short story collection. Dark yet sparkling with her unique brand of fairy dust. I mean, this could also go for short, right? Because they're short stories. And I really want to read this. Like, do you want to read this? I think this could be a fun option for October. Either short or fantasy this could go for, I think. Let's see if I have any other fantasy books. None of these. No. And no. Well, this is not maybe fantasy. Lanny by Max Porter, which I think is a little bit of maybe horror or like creepiness, but also like a magical folk lore fable. I'm not really sure. Let's see what there is on audiobook, shall we? We have Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. Fantasy and science fiction. Yeah, I would say this is more science fiction, isn't it? This is an absorbing historical fantasy, She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. Reimagines the rise to power of the Ming Dynasty's founding emperor. It's not really short though. What am I looking for? Short or fantasy? I would like to read The Last Unicorn. Let's see how long this is. 48 minutes I've been doing this now. That's ridiculous. Fantasy, please. I don't want to pick a bad one. I know that there are a lot of really great fantasy books, but like they're all 400 pages, 500 pages, 1,000 pages. Like they're all so long. So many of them are like the start of a series, and I already have like my fantasy series going. Maybe I will just go with Lanny by Max Porter for fantasy, and I know it's not a proper fantasy, but it does have elements of fantasy and magical realism, and it is short, but I think it's really good. It was long-listed for the Booker Prize in 2019, and I've seen really good reviews, and it has a really high rating on Goodreads, and so I'm gonna pick this for fantasy, and that is my final decision. Okay. And I've also been looking for a reason to read White Cat Black Dog. The text is pretty big, so I think I'm obviously also interested in like reading the book. I'm not just going on the fact that it's a bit short, but it does fit the prompt short in that it's short stories. Maybe these two are a very weird combination, but I think that, I mean, we might not read both of these. I'm picking these. Okay. And then the final prompt that I don't really have anything for yet is culture, and I don't really know what to do about that. I mean, I could go like myth and things, because those are part of culture as well, whether it be like a Greek myth or a Mexican myth or an Indian myth. Like there are so many different kinds of retellings of myths from different parts of the world, and so that would be really interesting. But they're also mostly on the longer side, and I want to be able to like give that my full attention. And then there's like the more heavier side of culture, which is like nationalities and history and all of that kind of culture and how that affects societies and people and all of that, like that type of culture. And I don't have it in me at the moment. Should I just pick another prompt? I'm gonna pick another prompt because I want to feel excited about these books, and these two I'm actually really excited about, and Remarkably Bright Creatures I'm also excited about. So if I get to read Beartown and then one or two out of those, like I'm happy. But let's see if we can pick another prompt and just get one more option for you. Green, no, we already have green. I need a blue or a yellow. A yellow. Okay. Okay, so this one says male author. Noel, I think, is a man, so that's an option. Let's see. Male author. That isn't too long. I'm gonna look at my audiobooks one last time. Hold on. Out of all of the books that are written by male authors, I have The Other Side of Night by Adam Hamdy. Crime thriller mystery, psychological thriller, crime thriller book. There's a disgraced former police officer called Harriet who discovers a plea for help in the margins of a secondhand book. So that also fits with the original prompt, which was books. It says it's a big-hearted, big-brain novel that you'll finish in 3 days and think about for the rest of the year. The other one is The Darlings of the Asylum by no. The Darlings of the Asylum by Noel O'Reilly. It's a tantalizing gothic novel telling a thrilling story of duty and desire, madness and sanity, truth and delusion from within a Victorian asylum. To marry is madness, to escape is impossible. It's very dark, but it's also somehow in my mind a little bit fluffy, or like it's not super. I think it will be good, but maybe not so good that it's too scary. The Other Side of Night has the reference to books. I mean, I think that sounds interesting as well. And it says to sort of go in not knowing too much on that, so I don't want to give too much away. It does seem to fit the weird theme we have going on this month. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay. If the theme for September was feminist, the theme for October will be dark and twisty and wintry and cold and creepy and also a little bit heartwarming, maybe, depending on what you choose. The one that we're reading for sure is Beartown by Fredrik Backman, and this is a contemporary Swedish novel about different people in a sort of small town in northern Sweden, like a fictional town where the biggest thing going on is a hockey team, and there's all of their families, and then there's a crime happening. And I've seen the series. Honestly, I don't remember a lot about it, so I'm very curious to read the book and see if my memories of it come back. But yeah, this is the one that I'm for sure reading in October. And then we have 4 options that you can choose from. The first option is Reney by Max Porter. There's some kind of a boogeyman character, and there's a young boy that moves into this English village. It's a bit poetic, and it also has some horror elements in it, and some fantasy / magical realism. It's probably weird, and I'm really looking forward to this if it gets chosen. Next option is White Cat Black Dog by Kelly Link. This is a short story collection with modern retellings of fairy tales in a creepy, fantastical way. Very surreal, I would say, as intense, absorbing, and weird as the best dreams. Leaving behind the enchanted castles, deep dark woods, and gingerbread cottages of fairy tales for airport waiting rooms, alien planets, and cannabis farm run by a team of hospitable cats. And then for the purple prompt, we have Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, which, if I understand correctly, is about a woman working in an aquarium and she strikes up a friendship with the octopus. So the book is written from their perspectives, like the octopus perspective and the woman's perspective. I think that's what it is. And it's supposed to be really good and heartwarming and funny and nice. And then we're going with The Other Side of Night by Adam Hamdy. And I don't want to read too much about it, but it's a psychological thriller, crime, mystery kind of book where there is a former police officer called Harriet, and Harriet finds a plea for help in a secondhand book, and so she tries to find out who wrote that. It's supposed to be a mind-bending, big brain kind of novel and also big-hearted. There was love and loss and redemption. So yeah, that sounds really intriguing as well. Those are the 4 kind of weird options, but I think they're all going to be really good, hopefully, and if not, at least interesting. I think that will be a nice break from the very feminist month of September, and then we're going into October, and it's a bit more of a weird and dark vibe, and I think that's going to be really fun. Hopefully you find one that you want to read or that you want me to read and talk about. Let me know what you think of these options in the comments, and make sure to vote on the community tab thing. And then after about a week, I will put up a new post on the community tab to show the results, and then those are the books that we'll be reading in October. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go and vote. And yeah, that's it, I think. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.